Summer months are so beautiful, filled with colors, brightness, and warmthness that you want to make the most of the sunshine and the weather. These dried up flowers, I always gather them, discarding anything unwanted, creating a compost. Yes, compost. They are rich in carbon and nitrogen that plants need for growth. Just adding them to the garden area enriches the soil, acting as a fertilizer. I eat a lot of oranges and can easily eat 2 at a time. I love the citrus flavors and the peel of the oranges are more rich in nutrients. So let me save them up. With its strong flavor and richness, I want to preserve them. I have a lime and a lemon. I cut them into rounds. I gather all of them in a plate to dry up in natural sunlight. Kids will be back home soon from school and they love having lemonade. I have saved up 2 slices of lemon and the ends of lime and lemon. I squeeze in the juice, adding lot of flavor into the drink, which tastes a lot better than consuming it as it is. I add in a good amount of mint leaves as well, keeping it ready to drink. Now the squeezed rind can always be used for good, adding into the sink, clearing the odor with its antibacterial and antifungal properties. Now I am up to using these withered, dried up flowers. I cut them before they break down. I also use some fresh flowers. I gather many in a tray. We have fresh lavender plant at home. I gather a few along with leaves which are rich in fragrance and aroma. A dried up rose. I gather all the petals, clearing the plant, making space for the new bud, and also utilizing these dried up petals. And a beautiful fresh flower. I have more dried up flower plants indoors. I clear up the dried ones, adding into the tray. In this way, the plant gets trimmed and also keeping the indoors clean. And the best of all, utilizing these dried up flowers. I keep the tray direct in the sunlight, waiting for them to completely dry up. The joy of making your own papad at home. I never ever thought that this little thing can bring so much of joy from making to eating it crunchy. I measure in a small cup of sabudana into a thick bottom pan, giving it a good wash a couple of times. And I measure in using the same cup 8 times water and allowing it to soak in water for at least 2 hours time. In the meantime, I make another drink, summer cooling drink, which we call it as panaka, but a healthier version for today, using brown jaggery, natural brown jaggery, which is super soft that I can just break it down from my hand. I am using 60 grams of jaggery instead of using sugar, making it more healthier and nutritious and also very tasty too. I add in the jaggery to be dissolved. Now I take out 2 limes and keep it aside for them to reach room temperature. And these bags are a big no to be in the refrigerator. Better to clear it now and transferring it into the cotton bag before placing them in the fridge. In a big plate, I add thin poha flakes. I spread it evenly and place it in direct sunlight for them to turn crispy, crunchy, soaking in the direct light of sun. They turn out to be very tasty, absorbing the natural light from the heat. Pillows are always on a hold, waiting for the proper heat and sunlight. And now that I'm assured of the taste, time to give them a wash. I do apply a lot of oil overnight, even after covering my pillowcase with extra lining. The pillows have turned and changed its color with the daily use, building up oil. It has become important to give them a wash, at least occasionally, to kill the bacteria, as it is in a very close contact with our faces. I place just 2 pillows at a time and add very little of non-bio washing powder. And I also like to add in just a drop of tea tree oil to kill the bacteria and making and smelling all fresh and clean to use. I set the washing machine for delicates. The jaggery has nicely melted and I always make it a point to roll the lime before cutting and making it soft, which tends to give more juice reaching room temperature. I squeeze in 1.5 lime for the whole jug. I crush 2 cardamom pods into fine powder. Cardamom is a cooling and flavoring agent perfect for summer weathers and summer drinks, keeping the drink ready for all of us. Remember the sheet that I have saved up during my pantry arrangement? It is the chapati ka atta sheet that I smear very little oil onto the whole sheet, keeping it ready. You can also use a baking tray or a regular tray lined up with a baking sheet, greasing it up with oil and keeping it ready. Keeping all the things ready such as a spoon and a pair of sunglasses will turn out to be super helpful. So I'm adding cumin seeds, red chili flakes, salt to your taste. I keep stirring it occasionally until it reaches to a boiling point and making it a continuous process at the finishing point. Now this is one of the most easiest recipes of making papad at home. My akka explained this recipe, giving her recipe to me so well and so easy for me to understand last summer that I had to try it myself. Kids loved the process of doing it with me last year. It is almost reduced to half and has completely changed the color with the whole mixture turning to be thick. Using a tablespoon, I spoon in the mixture with spacing in between on the baking sheet. It is extremely hot, so I thought of making it indoors and then placing the tray outside. And trust me, there is a lot of joy in making certain things at home, which can be, of course, be brought from stores easily. But the feeling of accomplishment in making these little things using nature is overwhelming and can be felt when you actually make it yourself. I'm working on the plastic sheet outside. The pillows are looking all clean, fresh and smells good as well. I do need to sit down and just enjoy this drink for now. It tastes good and I'm feeling very refreshed within. I have these small glass jars at home that I give a good wash with soap and water, giving it a good rinse and allowing them to dry. After 4 days of constantly being in sunlight, the papad have totally dried up and turned crispy using natural sunlight. That I'm going to transfer them into an airtight container and keeping it ready to deep fry as and when we wish to. After 4 days of being in natural sunlight, the poha flakes will not shrink in when I place them on a hot pan. They will not lose their shape, but the texture and taste has definitely increased. I do it in 2 batches. When the poha turns to be super hot, on a touch, I turn off the flame. This is a super quick and a very tasty nibble and snack that you can make and keep it ready for a summer picnic or outing. Keeping all the things needed together before starting the tadka makes it easy. I wash and pat dry the curry leaves on the napkin before spluttering in the oil, keeping the whole kitchen hob clean. I'm using the same pan. I add in sunflower oil and cold pressed extra virgin coconut oil. I splutter in the mustard seeds. I add in the peanuts and just wait for a couple of minutes to turn crunchy. Curry leaves, hing, darya dal, and I straight away turn off the flame. I wanted them to be just heated but not cooked. I add in red chili powder, salt to your taste, roasted poha flakes, and I give it a good mix. And finally, I add in darya dal powder. It is the super tasting secret ingredient. I split it into 2 separate airtight containers to be shared with my friends. It's such a nice feeling to have the new normal life back again, where we can share each other's food and have each other's food. I've got this pickling vinegar from the supermarket which is ready to use. I've gathered a few spice jars, giving it a good wash before I use them to store pickles. Kids love these fresh, veggie, crunchy pickles, and it's a lot easy to make them too. I have carrot and beetroot. I peel off the skin and save them in a freezer bag and when I use any rooty vegetables, I save the peels to be used for later, either to bake or make a chutney. Just to make the look and appearance of the chopped vegetables interesting, I'm using a crinkle cut knife. You can use a straight cut knife too. I chop the carrots into circles and transfer it into the jar. For the tender beetroot, I just would like to use them into long strips, keeping them in separate jars. I love pickled garlic. I crush and peel a few small tender ones which are right in the center. Shallot onions taste so good in whatever we choose to make. I peel the onions and place them separately. I like the idea of giving a choice to choose, which makes it more interesting and the want to have more. A few fresh green chilies from a garden. I give a wash and place them straight into the jar. I straight away add the vinegar into the jars and fill them up completely to be soaked and marinated. Can't wait to start using them. After 15 days, the flowers have all dried up. These lemon and lime took a bit longer, more than 20 days to dry up. I measure 2 equal slices and keep them aside. The rest, all of them, I gather together, combining them carefully and gently, and transfer them into a plastic bag. I use a few essential oils that I have at home. Not necessary that you have to use the ones which I'm showing. You can use any fragrance of your choice. I just add a drop or 2 of lavender, tea tree oil and peppermint. I tie a knot to the cover and give it a good shake. I'm using a mason jar which has a broken lid, but the bottom is still in a good shape, intact. I tie a knot with a lovely ribbon covering the metal piece and also adding a summer vibe with its color. I transfer the homemade potpourri into the jar. It smells good, looks good. I add the fragrance potpourri jar made at home in one of the corner tables at home. And this cover smells so good that you can use it as a bin liner in the washroom. Reusing the cover and an added on fragrance smelling all good. The dried up lime slices have a beautiful natural aesthetic look that I am planning to use them as earrings. I hook these earring holders onto them for a very summery vibe. Perfect for a summer holiday earrings made at home. We had to try this papad. I deep fry them. These tiny ones tend to wide open, spreading out in the oil. And my baby is very much looking forward to try it. Using the natural sunlight, enjoy the process of authentic cooking using the summer and the sunshine for a clean and hygienic living. Cook at home and enjoy it with your family. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.